Now, GN Bank was set for a comeback. I mean, Dr. Indum even announced that they are going to set the first branch in, I think, Elmina. But yesterday, the Supreme Court put brakes on that and said, no, they should hold on. So they suspended the reopening of GN Bank till they are done with other issues. Dr. Asante, do I still have you? Okay, Doc is gone. Let me start with the lawyer on this one as well. Lawyer Bedu. I mean, GN Bank had its license restored by, I think it was the Court of Appeals. But the Supreme Court says no. What's happening here?
Oh, so it's a simple one. And I wouldn't want to go into the merits of it, even though I know some stuff in it. But because the Supreme Court is seized with the matter, we should be careful. This is joy news. You never know whether it's Supreme Court judges.
They are watching actually.
Tomorrow you are not held before them to answer. And of course, I should know better as a practitioner. Now, what has happened is a simple one. Yes, the Court of Appeal heard the matter and then they granted the request of GN Bank to have its license restored. Soon thereafter, the Bank of Ghana went to the Supreme Court to appeal against that decision. Normally, when there is an appeal, practitioners know that you file what is called stay of execution. Usually, because you see, if you don't do that, the process will continue because until you file and it is granted, there is a decision and it has to be followed through. So if you are not careful, by the time you realize things may have happened and you will not, but you see, the court, the fact that you even file doesn't mean the execution should be halted. The court should look at it and make sure that you have a case. What the appeal that you brought to you have made a case that needs a certain interrogation, because the court is of the view that once a decision is given, it must be followed through. But if you appeal and you convince the court that the basis for Bank of Ghana's appeal is law. They I've read a few documents or processes in this case, and they claim the Court of Appeal was wrong in law.
Okay.
I wouldn't say much. And so the Supreme Court has looked at it and they are of the view that no, there is a matter to look at. And so that application to have the execution stayed has now been granted. It doesn't mean that there is a decision that their license would not be. At the moment, there is still a decision of the Court of Appeal which has not been reversed or whatever. So at the moment, the court is saying that stay, hold on, don't grant or don't issue the license yet. Let us look at the matter. So GM Bank will still be in court to prosecute its matter, defend its position. Because you see, the point really is this. In any case, who was to grant the license, to issue the license?
Bank of Ghana.
Who is in the Supreme Court?
Bank of Ghana.
So I think that let's stay back a bit. I have my personal opinion, but because the Supreme Court is
actually
the matter.
On the day the Court of Appeals gave that ruling, I spoke to a banking consultant on Top Story, and he said that he knows that the Bank of Ghana will go, and when they go, he's sure they will win that.
That goes the point that as a country, as a state, institutions run irrespective of political parties that are in power. Because this was an action taken by the previous government. But the current government or the current Bank of Ghana
governor or management
thinks that it is the way to go. And that is what we should try to always, so that our institutions grow beyond partisanship. Whatever it is, regardless of which government was or is in power, the procedure and whatever they have been doing, that is right, must continue.
They've taken a recent decision, Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
They revoked the license of, I think it's ZPay or so.
I commend that. It's not about whether GN deserves or does not, but I commend the
procedure,
continuity of whatever. It tells that the Bank of Ghana is growing beyond partisanship, and I'm happy.
Prof.
Yes. So before I come to that, we're still in the professional field, and the statistician fraternity of Ghana, our godfather or president is Professor N.N. Nsuwa Nuyama.
N.N. Nsuwa Nuyama.
Nsuwa Nuyama.
Okay.
Nicholas Nicodemus Nana Nsuwa Nuyama. I greet him. I was fortunate to have him as my personal statistics coach.
Okay.
Supervised my PhD. He's guided me throughout all my statistical endeavor.
I'm coming. You said so is N.N. Nsuwa.
Yes. So
wow, that's serious.
Nicholas.
Professor 5N.
Nicodemus.
Okay.
Nana. And so
Nuyama.
I greet him.
Wow.
He's the president of South Shore, formerly Dominion University.
Okay.
Action Chapel. So he's raised a thought-provoking conversation, and he thinks that the disbelief of the citizens in the data that comes from Ghana Statistical Service. Sometimes you hear inflation, they say they are lying. When you hear GDP, they say they've cooked it to favor government. He thinks that one of the reasons why the citizens do that is because we call them, the head, the bosses, we call them government's statistician. So it's like they are doing everything to suit the government of the day. And so just as we call the Auditor General, which has no nomenclature relation with the government of the day, and they do their work and it is discussed by parliament and everything genuinely, he thinks that it is time we change the name. That name was given to us by the colonial masters. And at that colonial time, the statisticians then were actually working for the government.
Okay.
But times have changed, and in all democracies, statisticians, they work generally. So he thinks that it is time we change the name from government statistician to statistician general.
Okay.
But I think
yes,
the government statistician used to be independent,
yes,
almost all the time, until recently when Professor Nim was removed. And I think this is the first time a statistician was removed and replaced by another one.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, Grace Bediako came through all the administrations from Kufuor, Mills, and retired under Mahama.
I like your...
you understand?
But if she retired under Mahama, then Mahama would have appointed someone.
She retired, yeah, he appointed someone.
Yes.
Someone was appointed. And that person also, that is Wadier also, he also retired. Then another was until Professor Enim was just removed and replaced by Professor Lassa.
All right.
I know. But I mean, when you say statistician has been replaced by, statistics is a very broad field.
No, I'm talking about the government statistician.
Al Hassan is a statistician.
Yes.
You can call him a financial statistician. Enim is a statistician. He is an econometrist, an economic statistician. Statistics is like
I'm talking about you hearing change of government and you see the change of the government statistician.
Anyway,
this is the first time it has happened.
The permission to, explain some of these things, but it could also be, just by the way, it could also be that perhaps the very good Professor Enim was already...
he was not on retirement, I know the story.
Intending to leave. I'm not talking about...
Anyway, let's move on. We are talking about
so what I'm
GN
saying
Bank
on this platform is that, lawyer, you are here, you are in parliament. If it comes up, or if it is worth considering, let us detach the government thing. It makes people think that they cook data that is determined to them by the finance minister or by the president or by whoever is the head of government. Let them be statistician generals, like the Auditor General, and then we know that they are doing their work as statistician. In fact, the misconception people have about inflation. Usually I ask you, when they say inflation has fallen from 24% to 5%, what does it mean? It means a car, for example, the car is speeding at 24 kilometers per hour, is now speeding at 5 kilometers per hour. It tells you the car is still moving. Just that the rate at which it is moving is slowing. And all these things. Basic, but when it comes up, usually you see the political twist to it. This one takes it here, this one takes it. Instead of going into the data and see where to correct. Okay. Elsewhere, my last point on that.
Hey, Prof. Exactly.
Let me come to GN Bank. GN Bank, like lawyer have said, for me, I will applaud the Bank of Ghana. They are the head. Dr. Siama is part of the government, kind of. But then they won't put their professionalism aside just because it was a political promise in the past that when we come,
restore your license.
Restore your license. Professionals. That's why I always recommend that let's bring more professionals into government. At least his professionalism would save some things. They won't do things like a wholesale like that. No professional will just do things wholesale without paying attention to some details in there. In fact, I'm not prophesying doom or perhaps not wishing GN Bank well, but until the Bank of Ghana, professionals in there are convinced that a step to restoring the license is in the right order professionally, it will be very difficult for any political influence to say, put aside all the things you have gone to learn in school. Dr. Siama, you get it, put aside every professionalism, the banking consultants and all those things at Bank of Ghana. Yes, this is an error, but forget it, put it aside. They will not. It will be very difficult to do that. So let's applaud the Bank of Ghana. Let's give the law courts the time to interrogate the matter. We wish GN Bank well, but I stand here to say that it is not going to come on the blind side of professionals who are committed to keeping the standards. And until the standards are cleared or the way is clear professionally, it will be difficult. It can't be just on the promise of a political promise that your license is restored. Then let's take this into the future and say, when a politician tells you something and it is related to a certain professional, please, you too start doing your homework and make sure by the professional standards you fit to. If not, when you go there, the Bank of Ghana will meet you squarely with the details.
Okay, all right.
Kojo, I think this issue has two dimensions. One, the political dimension, and secondly, the technical dimension. The political dimension is that when these banks were closed, the NDC used it as a campaign tool to say that Akufo-Addo closed the banks because he's callous. To the extent that when you read the NDC's manifesto, they even put it in the 2024 manifesto that when they come, they will restore the licenses for those who are affected, who were affected at that time. So that is the reason this one has become a political issue. Now, when you look at the issues, when it broke that indeed, the story, news broke just about a month ago, that Court of Appeals has really restored their license and they had ordered that they should take steps to release all their assets to them and so on. I remember I listened to your program and you spoke to Nana Otue-Champong, that is the banking consultant, who said that looking at the facts of the case, it will be difficult for them to really operate. He went ahead to say that if Bank of Ghana is to appeal, he even said that, he gave the hint that Bank of Ghana will appeal.
Yes.
Because if you look at the ruling, if you read through the ruling and you look at how that license was revoked, Bank of Ghana did not do anything untoward. And it is clear that indeed when you listen to the reasons why at that time that license was revoked, they were cogent, and Bank of Ghana really enumerated them before they even revoked the license. It was Indum who went to the High Court to challenge Bank of Ghana's decision, and the High Court ruled against him. It is not Bank of Ghana that went to court. It was Indum who went to to the High Court to challenge what the Bank of Ghana had done. And the court reaffirmed and said that indeed Bank of Ghana did the right thing. Because you see, capital adequacy ratio of the bank was supposed to be in a positive. It came down to negative 61%. They closed about 70 branches without recourse to Bank of Ghana. You can't close even a single branch without recourse to Bank of Ghana. They closed about 70. They did not have cash. We all saw these stories. You saw people going to the banks and they were turned out without monies. We at YEA at a point in time were paying our Arabic instructors through GN Bank. And a lot of them called and said that they go to the bank and the monies were not there, but we will instruct them that we've paid the monies and so on. So these are open secrets that we all know. But you see, it took a political twist. And that is the reason we're where we are today. Or else, this one will have been a necessary administrative and legal battle between Bank of Ghana and the GN Bank, because GN Bank felt that they were not treated fairly. They went to court and lost. They went for an appeal. And during that process, he went and met the current president, at that time former president, and presented his issues to him. And the president told the world that if he is elected as president, he will make sure that it is restored. And when the Court of Appeals gave that ruling about a month ago, you said the jubilation over. To the extent that a deputy communications director at the office of the president, Shamima Muslim, had to say that the president is not vindictive. It means Akufo-Addo was vindictive when at the time that the license was revoked, he was president. So he was vindictive. When you know that Bank of Ghana did their work as Bank of Ghana. So I was not surprised that they did the appeal, and now there is a stay, that they should stay until the determination of the case. We'll wait to see the outcome of the case. But I believe that those who are saying that you don't feel sympathy, yesterday I wrote about it on my Facebook page. They said, oh, you are happy the license has not been revoked and so on. If the government hadn't taken the bitter pill of doing the banking cleanup exercise, we wouldn't know where we are today.
Okay.
Because when DKM happened, thousands of people lost their lives. The president the government took the decision to do banking cleanup exercise so that they could safeguard at least 2.4 million people's savings.
So you meant to say thousands of people lost their livelihoods or lost
even
their lives?
Even their lives around Techimai in the north and so on. Those who lost their entire livelihood had to lose their lives. There are stories of people who lost their lives because their entire livelihood were gone through the DKM thing. And we couldn't really get them anything. But this one, there is no single bank that was collapsed. It was consolidated into Consolidated Bank of Ghana. And today, all their monies were intact. Nobody lost a dime in that. It is the banks. And again, at least we saw in the ruling of Ato Asian that indeed, if government hadn't done that, you have stolen deposited accounts, because the court ruling is that he stole the deposited accounts, funds. And he pleaded guilty to doing that. And he was supposed to pay around 90 million. He paid 30 million. After paying 30 million, he couldn't pay. He was committed to jail term. Now, I'm told he has been granted bail quite recently and so on. And the case is still ongoing. So the government took the best decision in the best interest of this country, in the best interest of depositors. And we were not vindictive because GN Bank got its first license under Kufuor. You got it to start operating. He got it under Kufuor. So why will a government that gave that gave license to him will have to revoke? The man served under an MPP government as a minister.
Okay.
Before he even started the bank.
Okay.
And so on.
All right.
So we're not being vindictive.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Could you?
Yes.
It has to be put on record that there is no record anywhere that says that thousands lost their lives. If livelihoods, I would be okay, but thousands is not true. Now, the other issue, we are individuals. There are things I know, a lot I disagree with what the presentation that has been made by my brother. But because the matter, don't forget, there is no finality to this matter. So all the claims in doom, as I've also read his lawyers, are opposed to a lot of these claims. A lot of them. But if you've read, if it's not just politics and you've read what is in court, you know that the Bank of Ghana is in the Supreme Court mainly on technical grounds. Law. And it's important. If you've read the processes, you will not do the usual politics with it. They are in court not because of these claims, but pure law, that the Court of Appeal erred in law deciding the case.
But how do they err in law?
No, but that is what is before the Supreme Court. Relax. You want to push me there? No, I've read processes in there. I'm saying that the basis for the Supreme Court action by the Bank of Ghana. And let me also say, nobody has said here, at least not here, that it was the Bank of Ghana that went to court. The process started from the High Court, we all know. But it is the Indum that went to the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
And appealed.
Yeah.
And now the Court of Appeal ruled for Indum. And now the Bank of Ghana has also appealed against the Court of Appeal decision. And the main grounds is law.
Yes.
And I'm saying that if you've read their basis of the appeal, that the notice of appeal, they are saying the Court of Appeal erred in law.
Yes.
And that is why they are in the Supreme Court. Let's wait. At the moment, the Supreme Court has seized with the matter and has seen that there is a matter to trial. That is why they have stayed execution of the Court of Appeal decision. But for that, they would have gone through, and it is also not the case.
But why would they say the Court of Appeal erred in law?
It happens.
When they know that the process they took to revoke the license has legal basis.
The process
and was affirmed by
the processes that BOG took to revoke the license of GN Bank. They followed legal procedure, right, to revoke it.
Yeah.
And that's why when the Court of Appeal...
They followed legal procedure in revoking it.
In revoking it.
Yeah, have you read the Court of Appeal decision?
No, I'm saying that...
Hold it. The bank, the High Court
ruled
in favor, which
of
has been set aside by the Court of Appeal. So currently the decision, the decision in the Indum case is the Court of Appeal decision.
Yes.
You don't even cite Bank of... Which decision does not agree with the revocation of the license.
Yes.
The Supreme Court is yet to rule on it.
Exactly.
Currently the law is that Indum's license was improperly revoked.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand that.
So there is no issue.
No, there's no issue. I'm just saying that the BOG believes that the process it took, because all of this is emanating from the process.
And the Supreme Court is yet to rule on that. So that is it. But let me also say there's no way. You can Google and see President Mahama did not directly assure that I will restore. He said, he took the petition and said, we will look into it. And he raised issues that it was done hurriedly in revoking and all that. We've had our issues with it. I don't want us to, you see, we can't politicize everything in this country. And sometimes when we come to sit here, we are professionals before we also becoming politicians. So the bank, look, as we speak, a lot of depositors, even the Indum himself, is his investment. Let us raise the bar. At the moment the Supreme Court is seized with the matter, let the Supreme Court bring finality to it. Sometimes even the Supreme Court may split. I mean, the bench may split and a review may be necessary. Let us go through the full whole so that as a country, we will move on. This one, for me, it's really not something we should dwell so much time.
Okay. Okay, so this is from citynewsroom.com. It says, the Director of Business Operations at Delex Finance, Joe Jackson, says it is practically impossible for future governments to restore the licenses of banks collapsed a few years ago. His comment comes on the back of a promise by former President John Dramani Mahama to restore the banking license that he said were unjustly cancelled by Akufo-Addo's government if elected in the 2024 general elections. The flag bearer of the NDC further pledged to ensure that experienced people who lost their jobs in the wake of the cleanup in the banking sector will get their jobs back. Quote, we will restore indigenous investment in banking and investment sector. We will create a tiered banking system that will serve
what?
We will restore indigenous investment and the banking and investment sector. We will create a tiered banking system that will serve the various segments of the market. We will give an opportunity for experienced banking hands who were laid off to secure their careers once more and move away from the menial jobs that they were forced. As far as practicable, the banking licenses that were unjustly cancelled by this government will be restored, Mr. Mahama. That's what he said, and this is 2020.
Is that the last one? Read the last
Okay, the last part. He says, as far as practicable, the banking licenses that were unjustly cancelled by this government will be restored,
so
Mr. Mahama said.
So you have to first surmount the hurdle of determining whether it was justly
or unjustly.
Do you understand? So if you want to even interrogate what has been put out there, I'm saying that, you see, even sometimes you may see things from behind.
Okay.
When you come into the fray, you get to understand things better, because sometimes we all speak from position of ignorance. Let's be very honest to ourselves. You come and then you realize that, oh, okay, so this thing was done this way or that way. I don't think it's really a matter we need to.
Kojo, they had people like Dr. Asiama, who has worked at Bank of Ghana at the time. People like Asiama ordered for the quality asset review of 2025 that says that about 10 banks were distressed. And that was the reason Dr. Baumia, at the time, at Central University, said that 10 banks may collapse if government doesn't resuscitate them. You remember?
So 2015.
2015, yeah.
You understand? He said 10 banks will collapse. So when we came, the first thing we did, because we knew that those banks were distressed, and the Bank of Ghana really listened to Dr. Baumia. They started supporting the banks, giving them liquidity supports and so on. After that, when we took over, we saw that they were mismanaging the support that Bank of Ghana gave them. And that was the reason first 5 months of our administration, we had to let GCB take over 2 banks, Capital Bank and UT, just in a drama, so that at least they will safeguard the deposited funds. Then we started prosecuting the 2 individuals involved. Then we felt that the rest of the banks, the situation is becoming so murkier that people are opening banks without necessarily having a lot of capital. So that was the reason we had to give them up to the end of that year to recapitalize to 400 million. Some were not able to meet it, including GN Bank. Sahel Sahara, Omni Bank, and so on had to come together and form OmniSec. And some others merged. GN Bank decided not to merge. He says he will not merge. He didn't get the capital adequacy. He will not the capital threshold. He will not merge. He wanted a downgrade to GN Savings and Loans, and that was accepted. After it was accepted, the bank continued to suffer. People go there and they do not get their funds. He closed 70 banks according to Bank of Ghana, which is not in dispute. Branches, which was not in dispute. His only reasons were that he had around 7.1 billion Ghana cedi with the government because he gave contractors some amount of money and so on. That was the reason after the revocation of that license, he went to the High Court to challenge Bank of Ghana. That why did you revoke my license because I have these issues? He went to the the High Court, and the High Court listened to Bank of Ghana, and they said Bank of Ghana did the right thing. Until the case, the appeals court did their ruling. So indeed, we are all waiting for what the Supreme Court will say. But I don't want to be prejudicial.
Okay.
But I believe that it will be difficult for a restoration.
Okay. All right then. This one says, lawyer, this is for you, so please listen to it. The lawyer Bediako is contradicting himself. If he knows that Bobby Banson is Miracle's lawyer, then it even confirms the argument that they didn't allow him access to his lawyer because Bobby Banson couldn't also get in touch with Miracles.
Have you heard Bobby Banson?
No, I haven't.
So where is this coming?
I haven't.
As he said,
he says, I'll let you, let me just complete. So there you go. He says, I heard him ask that question. Who told them they didn't give him access to his lawyer? On so many shows, but it doesn't hold at all. He should just stop asking the question because that is a fact and no one needs to be told. Master Planner, Junior Policy Analyst, Kentampo.
Does he know what the fact is? Who is saying it? You, Kojo, you sit here. Yeah. I'm asking you, who told you? Which lawyer claimed that I am lawyer for, what's his name? Miracles, and I was denied entry before Atachia came in? Which lawyer told you that? So please, you should listen before.
Okay. This one says, Anokwa. Today, NDC is happy with the continuity of the actions of BOG in appealing the Court of Appeal decision. Oh, so the closure of GN Bank was, after all, not an MPP witch hunt. These people. So if the Supreme Court finds that the Court of Appeal, in fact, erred in law, what will be the effect? That's a question that a viewer.
If the Court of Appeal erred in law, then it means whatever decision
the High Court has taken.
Not necessarily. the Supreme Court may also give its own decision separate from. So, but what it means is that they would set aside the decision of the Court of Appeal and give their own consequential.
Okay, all right.